Hello and welcome to Network. My name is Spumelele Zondi with your technology and social media news. We hope you are staying indoors and keeping safe where you are and leaving home if you really have to. It's SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. News Network at sabc.co.za on email. This week, our Twitter poll is asking you how you are finding online schooling. This as Google has rolled out more services for online schooling. Results of that are coming up later in the program. Firstly, here's what's coming up tonight. We go to the rural area of Loskop in KwaZulu-Natal and find out how big the digital divide actually is and meet some of those who are trying to help close it. We have details on women in technology. And in our discussion, we visit the Mara Phones plant in Durban and have a conversation with Sylvester Taku, who is their head of expansion, about this Made in South Africa device. A lot of those who want to apply to university in the rural areas have no access to devices that are going to help them with this. Some of them don't even have the data or internet connection to apply to university. The digital divide is really big. Do Me a Favor goes to some rural areas in South Africa and tries to assist those that want to apply to university. Thembi Mdluli never finished school. She was abducted in the local practice of Ugutwala here in Loskop. She was later married off to her abductor, something she describes as the end of her life.
Lapha ko-10 sifikanga kwakuthiwa intombazane ifundela ukwenzani ngoba intombazane ifuna ukuyogana.
The principal of Mpumelelo High School says Uktwala is still practiced in the area and would like the community to learn about the importance of allowing girls to complete school and even do their further studies.
The kids of the school-going age, they get abducted by people from the community, and they say it's a tradition, but we don't know whether it's tradition or what, but they used to say that. And then afterwards they pay lobola, maybe 2 or 3 cows, and the kid or the girl just leaves the school.
Mdluli would like her granddaughter Zesuliwe to have a different life, one that she can enjoy. She doesn't have the means to ensure Zesuliwe applies to university, let alone studies at university.
Bengifisa ukuthi aye esikolweni esikhulu. Aphinde futhi afunde nakhona aqede ifiso zami lezo.
Zesuliwe says she once went to an internet cafe in town, but she struggled with her application process.
Ngake ngazama ukungena online ngithi ngiyapply kodwa khona izinto ezimbalwa zangihlula.
Then her teachers asked an organization called Do Me a Favor to visit the school and assist.
So we help students, specifically in the rural areas, to apply online. We bring what they don't have in terms of computers, laptops, printers, scanners, Wi-Fi, to help them apply for university applications. Any university applications in South Africa, and we help you to apply for NSFAS as well.
Their work assists with those who are on the struggling end of the digital divide.
It's a bigger gap than we thought it was. Number one, it's very far for the matriculants to access internet cafes in these remote areas of South Africa. Where students are able to access the internet cafes, they do not get the necessary assistance and support that they need at the actual internet cafe. And remember, we're talking about people that have never been privy to technology, that have never laid a hand on a laptop. Some of them have never even seen a PC with their own naked eyes.
Snenhlanhla Mazibuko is now at Wits University in Johannesburg. Despite his 6 distinctions in matric, he says if it wasn't for Do Me a Favor, he'd probably still be here in Loskop, not doing much with his life.
They have been a great deal of help. Bangisiza from process ukuthi ngikwazi uku-apply and stuff. I was clueless at the time. So bakwazi ukuthi bangichannelise through ama different channels ukuthi okay yini engingayenza ukuze ngisuke lapho. And futhi when I got to Johannesburg, they were able ukuthi bangwazi ukuthi bangilekelele with my registration ukuthi okay kufanele ngenze ini. As I was clueless about technology, they even helped me ukuthi ngenze ezinye izinto university, which is actually like out of bounds for umsebenzi bona abawenzayo. With technology, we can have access to ukuthi, okay, you know ukuthi, okay, if you choose maybe a specific subject, like if you choose to do physical sciences and mathematics, ungazi ukuthi, okay, how the bunch of careers ungakwazi ukuthi uwenze e-university mawufika, uzofika lokho ukuthi uwenze kanjani lokho. And nakhona uthola ukuthi ulwazi khona uyanjani, uyasalela kulo. And mawufika emadolobheni ngiyabona, usufika mhlambe e-university uthola mhlambe usukhethe mhlambe i-career mhlambe obungayithandi noma mhlambe obungamisele ngayo because awazi lutho ngayo. So uyikhethile thinking ukuthi ilento ebecabanga ukuthi but actually it's quite different.
Do me a favor, visit a few schools in the Uthukela district in KwaZulu-Natal. Let's meet some women in technology now, as it is Women's Month.
My name is Bathabile Mpofu. I'm the Managing Director at Nkazimulo Applied Sciences. The idea started when I worked at university as a technician. So what I would see there is a lot of learners battling to do science experiments in the lab. And I could relate to what these students were going through because that's the problem that I also went through when I was in high school, where I had to learn science from a textbook, but without the experience of doing the science experiments. So while I was at varsity, initially I thought the government needs to do something about this, but then I later realized that I can actually do something about it. And so I developed this portable science kit so that young people can get to do science experiments themselves.
Smarty Pants actually started off as a tutoring company, you know. We were tutoring maths and physics to schools in the Durban North area. And then we moved on to communities in the Umlazi and Kwamashu. And then what we realized is that the learners weren't grasping the concepts. And we then introduced, for example, arms laws. We actually connect resistors and actually kind of show them how resistors operate in terms of arms law in the physics syllabus. And then from then on, we just decided to have robotics, because I'm in the mechanical engineering field. We just decided that, okay, you know what, let's move from the tutoring aspect, let's introduce robotics.
Khagaza Girl Industry Immersion specifically is designed for university girls that are about to graduate, that are on the brink of starting work, and it's about engaging the work environment. I walked into an industry and a sector that didn't have a girl my skin color, specifically for the sector I was in and for the stuff that I did. And it was concerning, and I didn't fit the profile of a typical beneficiary. So it was important for me to be able to go forward in the next 5 years, to be able to see a Kia, to see a Nokbonga, a Tabile in industry and be able to recommend them and see them grow in the sector. So the industry immersion program was really designed about getting girls to integrate into the sector. What was integral and important was that we needed them to see how it's like to work, what it's like to build, what it's like to make, understanding the maker movement and space.
There still are a lot of people who don't have smartphones in South Africa. Many have feature phones, therefore they rely on USSD codes to get assistance. Amandla.Mobi helps women in this.
Smartphones and internet have changed the way political events, protests and movements are organized, helping to mobilize thousands of new supporters to a diverse range of causes. With such activity becoming an everyday occurrence, organizations around the world are using new forms of digital activism.
It is quite evident that protesting and marching every other time is just not as effective anymore, right? So we can just go out there and organize a march and then that's it, that's over. Nothing happens after that, right? So in using simple tools such as a cell phone or in using technology, we are able to gather people from different places in one. So right, if we are in Gauteng and we organize a march, it doesn't mean that everyone from other provinces can be able to join us. But with that campaign, with a cell phone, with technology, we are able to gather everyone, into one space by signing the campaign. So when people have their names on that petition, we are able to take those numbers, we are able to take those names to the decision maker and let them know that, hey, did you know that the rest of the country agrees on an issue like this? So you need to take action.
This non-profit organization runs campaigns using technology with members from across the country coming together at critical moments to take targeted action to make real change.
Just because you do not own a smartphone, it doesn't mean you can't be a part of a bigger change. So even if you have like a small phone that has no camera, that has no access to internet, you are still able to, take your part and take action. We also have an online platform that is open for everyone called awetu.amandla.mobi. So if, for example, in my community like Mamelodi, where there is no library and I want to take action but I do not know what to do, Awetu allows me to go there and start a petition, right? So I can then have my community members and everybody else sign.
The idea is to mobilize large numbers of digital activists to put pressure on decision makers. This is done through various platforms.
Mostly it depends on the type of campaign it is, but it is always good to have huge numbers, right? So once you have 100 signatures, that is enough people. You have enough people, those are enough signatures to take to the decision maker and say 100 people agree, right? So as much as numbers are important, it is much more important as to who signs the campaign. So if we have 500,000 signatures, that is great, but it doesn't mean that 200 signatures don't matter as well. So we always try to get as many signatures as possible. The most recent one that I worked on is the Child Support Grant campaign. So this campaign was endorsed by many other organizations, where Amandla.mobi worked with the Children's Institute to demand a top-up for the grants during the pandemic.
Beyond getting the message out there, digital activism allows anyone with access to the digital world a platform to make their call.
It is the SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Use network at sabc.co.za on email. After the break, we go to the Mara Phones plant in Durban. We also chat to their head of expansion about this made in South Africa phone. It is SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. News network at sabc.co.za on email. Welcome back. Mara Phones launched its plant in Durban in South Africa last year. They also have another plant in Kigali in Rwanda. Let's find out about this made in South Africa phone. Mara Phones says its choice of Durban in South Africa and Kigali in Rwanda for its plants is because it is a truly African phone. We met founder Ashish Thakar at the launch of the Durban factory in October last year.
It's an African company making it in Africa by Africans, for Africans and the rest of the world.
We've gone back to the plant at the Durban Trade Port. While chips are imported, a lot of work happens here.
My name is Notlata Mpenze. I work at EMS Daily Stores at SMT. Everybody, the line and the testing people, they always come to you and looking for the material for the testers to test. I give them finger codes, whatever the material that they're gonna need. If we're gonna need whatever material that we need, sometimes we will need the flags to clean the boards. And we also need the paste that we use on the board when to put the component.
They even have the proudly South African logo and display the Made in South Africa emblem at their door. As things are being created, coded and put together, every step of the process has checks and rechecks.
My name is Linda Zwelitsin-Mchali. I'm the team leader in the assembly department. We get the screen, we get the battery, we get all the motherboard, we get the subboard. That is what we usually put together to make the complete phone. We plan on doing 150 phones per hour.
They say 1,200 devices are put together here every single day, and they want to be thorough on things.
My name is Ayanda Shozi. I serve as a team leader for the packaging department. Once we receive the mobiles from this side, we take it and give it to one of our the QC ladies who is doing the visual checking to check if everything is in order, everything is perfect, it is ready to be sold to the customer. Each and every operator in this department, they do visual checking because it's very important.
At the launch last year, they were not available in South Africa. They tell us that they now are, as they have deals with local cell phone network providers. I also had a conversation with Amara Phones' head of expansion, Sylvester Taku. Sylvester Taku, thank you very much for being a part of our network. Maybe if you start by telling us on why you decided that it was important to have a plant in Durban.
So there was Gauteng, the metropolis, Ekurhuleni, and then there was Durban Port, and I think Cape Town, the economic zone as well. Because of consumer electronic goods, right? So the key components, and it doesn't matter where you manufacture, the chips are imported. And the chips needs to get in very quickly for production planning. So it's important to be close to an airport. So for us, that was important. And to be honest, Trade and Investment, KZN did a lot to make a case for Dubai Port. The ease and the closeness to the airport, the ease of getting materials in, and also the ease of us exporting if we need to, was very important. So Dubai Port made a case for itself, as it were.
So the phones that are manufactured here, are they just for the South African market, or do you distribute them all over?
It is for the South African market. The South African market, you would know, is a big market for mobile smartphones. We're talking northwards of 10 to 13 million phones sold per annum, so it's a big market. So our manufacturing plants for South Africa focuses for the South African market, but also your neighboring markets like Swaziland, Lesotho, Botswana, Namibia. And we've had to export from here all the way to DRC and the UK as well.
You did mention that the South African market is quite a ripe market for mobile phones. You're going into a competitive space. How do you then compete in that competitive space? How do you then make sure that you are seen?
So it's important us building partnership within your big operators who sell mobile devices. That we've worked hard on and we've achieved. But our marketing campaign, right, which we're going to be launching pretty soon. Unfortunately, the COVID lockdown cost us time in launching our marketing campaign. So for us, launching the marketing campaign is going to help to put Mara Phones as a brand top mind of all the consumers. But it's also engaging our partners, engaging the government. And, the COVID-19 has proven to us that we need to depend in the continent, in South Africa, for sustainability, for our own production, for job creation, right? So we need to, in that aspect, then we engage the government, the likes of the DTI, so that to see where we can also collaborate to create even more jobs. Because our factory, as you've seen, is a big manufacturing plant. We can scale up. How then do we create an environment where this industry can really take root and grow in the continent, and in South Africa in particular. So we're working with all the partners, with your Vodacom, with your MTN, to get into those channels, with your retailers as well. All the major retailers, we're working on partnership agreement on them. And for us, that's getting into the mass market, which is crucial because the consumers, it's a consumer electronic product. The consumers need to know Mara phones. It's world that we made locally, we're creating jobs locally, we're creating affordable, high quality and smart devices, all right? Argument's sake, Department of Education, there's a massive learning curve for them as well. With the lockdown, you have to go to online education, right? But we're not ready for that, right? So how do we create an industry? And that's what Mara Phones is doing, right? Now our line is totally capable of producing tablets, and R&D is done, and we're ready to start producing tablets to support, again, a great department like a Department of Education, or be it health, for the what do they call them, the community healthcare workers, right? because that we've realized is so much essential, not only to fight this current pandemic, but going forward to reach every person in terms of healthcare. You need smart devices again. So what Marathons is trying to do is for us to place ourselves as that pioneer in terms of local production. And to be honest, we're not being selfish to say we want to be the only ones, because when we took this step to say create Marathons South Africa, put a manufacturing plant of this caliber, is to encourage the growth of the industry. So the more that can come and join us in this, in the local production, the better for the country, because then we can be sustainable in actually delivering a capable fourth industrial revolution within our country.
Trust is something that you also have to build over time. And trust also comes with where mobile phones come from. Now, this is a phone that's not from South Korea, it's not from Europe, it's not from North America. It's from a region that people are not familiar with when it comes to manufacturing mobile phones.
It's me, it's you, it's our product, right? So that's where the trust starts. But over and above that, high quality product, the best charging time, high quality cameras. So our spec are top-notch spec. We're not taking shortcuts and say, because we made in South Africa, just love us because we made here. Our specs and quality is at par with our major competitors who come from the other countries you've mentioned. But the other thing about building that trust, right? Because we locally manufactured, we can actually spec products to our customers' desire, right? So take education again, right? The Department of Education could say these are the specs, exact specs, size in screen, size in memory, and these are the apps we want to get loaded onto the devices, and we can do all of that because we control our research and development, we control our manufacturing. So we nibble enough to be able to meet the customer's demand, right? And that's how we build that trust, by being able to actually service the customer need. Because typically, right, these smart devices are imported. You get them as they are. That has been spec'd for the global market and you have no say about it. Now you can actually collaborate with a partner that can build exactly to your spec.
And when it comes to the skills, did you source the skills locally, and was it difficult finding skills, especially in Durban and not being based in Gauteng?
Youthful team and majority women, so that made it even double difficult, right? I think Durban is also blessed by the great university UKZN, where most of our employees in the factory graduate from. That we collaborated with them to identify electronic engineering students who've come past their doors, and then we had a good recruitment company that assisted us.
All right, Sylvester Taku, thank you very much for being a part of our network. SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. News Network at sabc.co.za on email. Welcome back. Here's what else took place in the rest of the world in the tech space.
Nigeria's closure of place of worship as part of caps to prevent the spread of coronavirus outbreak has put a strain on the activities of churches nationwide. Tech entrepreneur is helping churches to digitize their operations using her mobile phone app.
It was a welcome development because it made so many things easy for us. Cut the gaps of trying to access the office sometimes. So you can do all of those from the convenience of your house.
Let us pray. In a push to ease the restrictions, authorities have since allowed places of worship to reopen from August. But the need for digital worship is not over. Churches can only open for services once a week and at no more than 50% capacity. In the US President Donald Trump has unveiled sweeping bans on US transition with the Chinese owners of messaging app WeChat and video sharing app TikTok, escalating a high-stakes confrontation with Beijing over the future of the global tech industry.
It's very it's a little bit of everything. It's like sad, surprised, angry, and still trying to understand the whole concept. Why he's making the move, but of course, there are a lot of people talking about it and growing panics and conspiracies and everything. But for me, mainly, it's just surprised and sad because it's a major communication tools between me and my families in China, especially my mom is now in China.
The executive orders announced Thursday and effective in 45 days come after the Trump administration this week flagged increased efforts to purge untrusted Chinese apps from US digital networks. Still in the US, are you tired of Zoom and looking for a new way to communicate during the pandemic? A Los Angeles area company has created phone booth-sized machines to beam live holograms into your living room.
Instead of Skype, which is great, and FaceTime, it's amazing, we use that stuff all the time, but what if you could stand opposite your loved ones and look at them in their eyes in their real human-sized form? Yeah, this is giving everybody, this is the new thing. We're not just halves of people, we're not just faces, but we are from head to toe. This is who we are, and that's why it makes it look so much more real.
The companies are promoting the idea to museums, which could let visitors question a hologram of historical figure, and to families to record information for future generations.
Google has rolled out about 50 new enhancements and products for online schooling. That's why our Twitter poll this week is asking you how you are finding online schooling during this lockdown. Now, 23% of you say they are enjoying online schooling. There's 18% of you who say they are hating it. In the majority is 44%. Those are people who say they haven't tried online schooling. And 15% of you say it's okay, but it can be a bit better. And that's it. That's all we have for you. Find us on SABC Network. That's on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. It's News Network at sabc.co.za, on email. From me, Spumelele Zondi, and the rest of the network team, thank you very much for being a part of our network. Have a good one, and stay home, and stay safe. Good night.